bold after winning just one game in the series, but that's Memphis's MO, right, Shannon?
Yep.
What's your reaction to what Dillon Brooks had to say?
I don't really have no reaction, Skip. I think the thing is that what we've seen from Dillon Brooks, Skip, in wrestling, he's adopted the heel. That's what he is. He wants to be the villain.
Yeah.
And he's adopted that role. And if you notice, Skip, we talk more about Dillon Brooks, about what he says after the game, what he wears to the game, as opposed to what he does actually in the game.
Bingo.
And so he knew by saying what he said would get him more clicks and more mentions and more being talked about than any play he's ever had at any level, high school, college, or pro. He know that one word, LeBron James is old, was going to get him mentioned and talked about.
It's a nuclear word. He's old.
Now, I didn't hear him say he was old after he lost on Sunday.
No.
He didn't say a word.
No.
And the Athletic, we talked about some of the topics that they had in the Athletic. They said the Memphis Grizzlies, they do a lot of chirping when they're winning. But when they're losing, they don't say a word. It's annoying. And right on cue, Dillon Brooks. Skip, a lot of times when we get up here, the luxury that I have that when you gave me this opportunity, I got to speak from a different level than someone say as a journalist, because you guys see things through a prism or a lens, and I got to see things through a different lens. I'm an athlete, but I've also been young. You've been young. And what Dillon Brooks said, I can remember saying the exact same thing, Skip, when in my early 20s. Somebody was old.
Yeah.
But as I got older in life, I started to realize one of the objectives in life is to get old. Maybe not. Dillon Brooks should hope he ain't gonna play 20. He should hope he has a career half as long as LeBron James. Forget being as productive. We know that's not gonna happen, but just half as long. And then as you start to get older in life, you're like, well, hey, this getting old ain't that bad. Considering there's a lot of people that left and didn't get a chance to get old.
Yeah.
Now back to our originally scheduled programming. Skip, look, I don't respect anybody. Skip, here's the thing. And I'm a firm believer in this because I played with a lot of great players and played against Reggie and played against Bruce, Ray Lewis, Deion Sanders. I believe I can go out there not be in awe, but be respectful. That's the way I approach it. I understand who they were, what they have accomplished, and but I'm not in awe of that. I'm gonna come give you everything I got and make the best man win.
Yeah.
He knew by being disrespectful, saying what he said, everybody's gonna leave their show with it. It's at the top of everybody's headline. Dillon Brooks says LeBron James is old. Says, I wish I could have got. But see, the smart thing about LeBron is LeBron knows he's not, look, this ain't a one-on-one. If we just said, okay, LeBron, you and Dillon Brooks go out there and play, y'all got one-on-one. LeBron will mop the floor with him.
Agreed.
But LeBron understands this is not a one-on-one battle. It's the Lakers versus the Grizzlies.
Yeah.
LeBron dropped 28, 12, and 3. Couldn't nobody make a shot yesterday, or he'd had more assists than that. But when he scored 21 the other night, Skip, I didn't hear Dillon Brooks say a word. So damn, the LeBron James got 4 days older, and now he's ancient. Look, Dillon Brooks, like I said, he's the heel in wrestling.
Yeah.
And so he's the Iron Sheik, or he's one of those guys, Skip, and that's the role he's adopted. Because we talk about what he's saying. Gary Payton snatched him out of the air. He got suspended for getting the 16th tech. That's what we talk about with him, Skip. When do we mention his game? Man, you got crazy handles. He can finish at the rim. He's a great shooter. We don't talk about that. We talk about his antics. And that's what he wants us to talk about.
Yep. So, for a man who had very little to say in reaction to what Dillon Brooks said about LeBron, you just had a whole lot to say.
Okay, my bad, I did.
Yes, you did. And by the way, I'll frame everything I'm about to say with our man Draymond Green, who will not play tonight because he's suspended.
Right.
Recently on his podcast called Dillon Brooks a flat-out clown and said you don't build dynasties on clowns. Now, occasionally, Draymond's behavior can be clownish.
Yes.
But that's a whole nother issue that we're about to talk about in our next block here on the show. Dillon Brooks is nothing but an instigator. Instigating is all he can do.
Correct.
Because the truth is, he's all bark with very little bite.
He doesn't have the game to back it up.
And when we talk about smoke and mirrors, he has no smoke, really. He's all mirrors. He's a terrible shooter.
Yes.
He was a 32% three-point shooter this year. He was from the floor. He was a 39% shooter this year, 39.6%.
Yes.
That ranked 119th of 123 qualified. I'm talking about from the floor, shooting shots.
Yeah.
He was bottom of the barrel.
Yes.
Last night, I was watching him shoot. It looked so awkward. And then, when I least expected it, he makes the dagger. Or I guess it was the final nail in the coffin, right?
Yes.
He made the three at the end of the game that cinched it. And yet, I'm saying, from play to play, dribble to dribble, I'm watching him guard LeBron. And he didn't always guard LeBron. But when he did have LeBron, I'm looking at it like, this is a joke. It's a mismatch. They list him at 6'7". I'm not sure he's 6'7". They list him at 225. I'll give you 225. LeBron James is 6'9", 260. LeBron towers over him. And by the way, LeBron also towers over Xavier Tillman.
Yes.
Xavier Tillman is 6'7". So he plays big. He looked like he was there 5 last night.
He played 7-1 last night.
He played 7-1. But I'm saying LeBron is very close to, because Jaren Jackson's, what do we give him, 6'10"-ish? Okay, LeBron is close to being the biggest guy on the whole floor. And when he decides on Dillon Brooks, he can just take him to school, take him to the bucket, take him anywhere he wants to take him. And yet, because LeBron did not impose his will soon enough on Dillon Brooks last night, he opened the door for Dillon Brooks to do what you just saw.
Yes.
Because if the Lakers win that game and go up 2-0 going home, do you think Dillon Brooks is going to say that after the game?
No.
He gets it. He knows it. He's what you said. What's the flashpoint? Old. He's old. He's washed up.
Right.
He ain't what he used to be. The old gray mare ain't what she used to be, right? He's not the old Miami LeBron or the Cleveland LeBron.
Right.
I wish I could have seen that guy, but now he's just not the same.
I got to deal with what I got.
I got to deal with it. And yet, he did make one good point about if LeBron wants just to stay out there by the sidelines and shoot shots. Okay, my biggest issue with LeBron from the start is he still jacks up way too many threes.
I agree.
And last night, he averaged 7 three-point shots a game this season and had an abysmal three-point shooting season in which he was bottom of the barrel. Last night, he tried 8 and he made 1. And then he had the audacity, when he did make his 1, LeBron turned to somebody in the front row and like stared him down. I'm like, give me a break, because if you can make 4 of those, you can do that.
Yes.
But don't do it off the first one when you're about to go 1 for 8. So Dillon Brooks had the advantage. He had the leverage after the game because simply they won a game that they really had no business winning.
Correct.
And yet, this was the flashpoint of the game for me. This is where LeBron was so disappointing to me, because he is clearly all-time great. We can go back and forth whether he's the GOAT or not, or whether he belongs in the top 10. I got him 9th overall. We could debate that all day. But he is all-time great because he is the greatest scorer in the history of this game.
Right.
He passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar this year. That deserves honor. That deserves respect.
Yeah.
And that puts him on a pedestal far, far above some Dillon the villain way over here.
Right.
I don't even know how long he's going to last in the league. Seriously, because his skills can't back up his mouth at all. So, Shannon, we had that flashpoint moment. What was the time? Let me get it here. Okay, so it's 8:10 of the third quarter. The Lakers are getting their asses kicked by a Ja-less Memphis Grizzlies.
Yep.
And LeBron makes a shot. This one was on Dillon Brooks. And it's the fadeaway at the free throw line, kind of like the shot that he passed Kareem on, right? It was real close to that shot. So here he goes. It's good. It's good. That's unguardable if you can make it. And up the court he comes, and LeBron is giving him the business. And Dillon Brooks is loving it and literally clapping back at him, because in Dillon Brooks' mind, he's saying, I got him. I got him. He's recognizing my existence. He is responding to my trash talk.
Did you hear what LeBron called him?
No, I couldn't see what it was.
Look at effing bum.
Okay, bum. Okay, well, you know what? Okay, I'll give you that. But the truth is, it's way beneath LeBron's dignity to stoop down to his level. You know what the old thing about a pissing match with a skunk? You're in a pissing match with a skunk.
Yeah, you're going to lose.
Okay, the effing bum. Okay, You don't need to tell him that. Show him that.
Right.
At that moment, if I'm LeBron's teammate, I'm like, oh, God, he's getting in LeBron's head because LeBron felt compelled to respond to him. I got you. Well, you don't got me on the scoreboard because I don't know what it was. I think you were down 15 at that point. Okay, so Shannon, you know and I know it's way beneath LeBron's dignity to do that at that point in the game. That's when I said, you know what? I think Memphis is going to win this game because Dillon is getting to LeBron.
I thought Memphis was going to win the game through the first 5 minutes of the game. And you saw the way you saw they did not come out with a focus. I don't care. They can't convince me that they weren't satisfied with just getting one win.
Yeah.
They didn't come out Wednesday night like they came out Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
That didn't happen. And you could tell early on, Skip, the loose balls that Memphis was getting to. Xavier Tillman, all of a sudden, I'm like, bro, who is he? Well, he gave it to Anthony Davis. He gave it to him. And that's what I keep telling you. Which Anthony Davis? Am I gonna get the Anthony Davis that gave me 30 and 20, or am I gonna get the guy that gave me 8 and 7? Well, he gave me 13 and 9 last night, and he wouldn't have gave me 13 until he hit that last three with like a minute to go in the game.
Yeah. I hear you. I give you that. But it was such a weird game because in the first half alone, when the tone needed to be set, Anthony Davis blocked 5 shots in the first half. And I'm thinking, that's good. That's good enough to be in control of this game. How many times have you seen Anthony block 5.5? He had 5 for the game, so he didn't block a shot in the second half. But he's going up against the new defensive player of the year in Jaren Jackson. So Anthony's problem is if he's going to try to attack the rim on Jaren Jackson, he's the best shot blocker in basketball. So you got to give Jaren some credit because he's going to make it hard at the rim on Anthony Davis.
But Skip, even when Anthony Davis, when Jaren Triple J wasn't there, he makes AD hesitate. Because even when he had Xavier Tillman, Skip Conchar blocked the dunk.
Can we see that real quick? Because this is...
That ain't no defensive player of the year.
This is about as embarrassing as you can get. John Conchar, undrafted, blocked that. At 6'5", he blocked 6'10". And you know what? You got to give Conchar some credit because he timed it and he got up. Yeah. And Anthony looks like he's got it until the last second, and then he don't got it. And yet, John Conchar, I just looked this up, he blocked 25 total shots in 72 games that he played. He's not a shot blocker.
No.
He's 5 inches shorter. It was embarrassing, and it was another flashpoint moment when the home team's saying, oh, we got this.
That lets you know one team came to play and the other team did not. You can talk. Skip, it's easy to say, okay, we got one, we're going to get greedy. It's a lot easier said than done. It's kind of like the person that, when they're hungry and you see fighters, Skip, we see this a lot with fighters, they make it. We know Conor McGregor isn't the same fighter once he got that $100 million payday from Floyd.
No.
It's as simple as that.
In his mind, he's semi-retired. He did.
Skip, it gets harder. It's easy to pull up to the gym in a beat-up Chevy and get your head kicked as opposed to pull up with a Rolls Royce or a Bentley or Ferrari. Hold on. I'm driving a Ferrari and I'm getting my teeth kicked in. No, I'm good, cuz. I'm good with this. So the same drive isn't there.
Okay, I got it, and you are correct. But I tried to make the point to you going into this game that I look at these numbers over the last 3 years when Ja has not been able to play, and there's been quite a bit of time that he hasn't been able to play. Their winning percentage is actually 30 points higher without Ja. That's because this team is so deep that they have the most trustable, dependable backup point guard in the league. I love Tyus Jones, and ironically, he played a nice floor game because the key stat is he had only 1 turnover. But he missed all 5 of his 3-point shots, and he's a 37% 3-point shooter.
Right.
Shannon, the shame of last night was they didn't exactly shoot you out of the gym from 3. Usually the big upsets happen when the home team, the hopeless underdog, makes 23-point shots. They shot 30%, 30.6% from 3, right? They did make 11, but they took 11 of 36. It's not good enough to pull off an upset. And yet, as you know and I know, the game never was really that close, right? No. And yet the Lakers shot 26.9% from 3, 7 of 26. It's just not good. The home team was actually begging for you to win the game, and you couldn't do it.
Right. I think it's Skip, and a lot of times you watch, they got real careless guarding the three. D'Angelo Russell gives up a three, then he has a lazy pass, and then Luke Kennard's intercepts it, then he fouls him, and now you got a 4-point play. That's 7 points that you just gave up. LeBron was trying to, worried about the lane, and then Roddy hits a couple of threes in the corner on him. And it just seemed like they weren't focused. And then out of the half, Skip, they just came out, I'm sure the head coach, I forget, Darvin Ham. Skip, I'm sure that he drew us, this is what we're going to do defensively. When they do this, they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Skip, the first 2 possessions out, they give up layups to Tillman.
Yeah.
He got to take a time. I'm like, that's lack of focus.
Yeah.
That's not being in tune to what you got to get going on. That's like, hey, we got one, guys. We going back home. We going to play in front of our crowd. First time, we got to play first time and play out with a full crowd.
Full house, yep. Okay.
They weren't ready to play.
All right. They were not ready to play. And yet, Memphis, you have to give them credit because they're so deep. They've lost Brandon Clark. They obviously lost Steven Adams. They obviously, Ja's standing at the end of the bench, cheerleading instead of being able to play.
Right.
And yet, every time I look up, there's somebody coming off the bench, Aldama or that David Roddy. I love David Roddy.
Yeah.
And they stole him in the draft because he was the Mountain West Player of the Year at Colorado State. When I saw him in the Summer League, I said, that kid can play.
Right.
And he comes in and makes 3 big threes last night. And Conchar has the big block. And Xavier Tillman has come from nowhere because he did next to nothing this year.
Right.
He's a low average. He averaged 7, 5, and 2 this year. And he comes in and has the game of his life.
Luke Kennard.
Okay, Luke Kennard. They picked him up, obviously, from the Clippers. Zach Kleiman is their architect, their team builder, their GM. He won the Executive of the Year last year. He's 34 years of age. He never even played high school basketball, and yet he is the guru of the Memphis Grizzlies, and I doubt he could score 1 point in an NBA game.
Oh, yeah.
Okay? So the point is that this is the team assembled, and it's so deep, it's still dangerous without some of its top players.
Skip, and this is what I tell people all the time. You have to, no matter, if you take the best player, Giannis, and you take the 400th player, they're still in the same league.
They are.
If you don't take that guy serious, he will eat your lunch. I made that mistake. Oh, man, that joker can't play. And the guy held me to 2 catches for like 12 yards, and I got a concussion.
Yeah.
I never underestimated anybody again. He's a pro. Any pro can make another pro look foolish.
Okay.
Xavier Tillman made AD look foolish because he didn't take him serious, Skip.
I agree. Okay. So as I look ahead to Game 3, and I listen to what Dillon Brooks said about your man LeBron James, I look back at this game and I say, timeout. Do you realize that Dillon Brooks got his 4th foul with 9.5 minutes left in the 3rd quarter?
Yes.
And I'm thinking, LeBron, you could have eaten his lunch. Just get down. You can get him out of the game. It's ridiculous that he was able to last through the rest of the game with 4 fouls, and then he had one more 5. But he only fouled LeBron 1 time. LeBron shot 4 total free throws in the game with Dillon Brooks guarding him.
But you remember, Skip, look at I think LeBron last 6 points. He got him at the rim.
Okay, let's. I'm going to show you the 2 buckets.
Okay.
There are 2 late buckets that cut the score to 6, and I thought both times that wait a second, maybe this is 3:48 and 3:10 if we could see these 2 shots. Yeah. Where LeBron just said, "You can't guard me. This is I'm just too good for you." He has no hope, no chance.
Right.
That's the first one. Okay, then let's see a next. This is about 40 seconds later. That's the
dagger 3.
That's the dagger. But he had back-to-back buckets at the rim where he just took him
this
underneath.
Right here.
I believe this is it. Just give it to him down low. Okay. And Dillon Brooks is watching because he can't stop him at the rim. And I'm thinking, the line looks pretty good. He had his 28 points. Shannon, I'm not exaggerating. He could have had 50 on Dillon Brooks because Dillon Brooks can't handle him.
It's kind of, Skip, what you saw last night and what made you so upset with the Cowboys with Michael when they dropped him in coverage. Rush him!
Yeah, no,
LeBron, just go to the back. Just go post him up.
Or attack him more.
Yes.
Drive him. Because what's wrong with this box score is LeBron shot 4 free throws.
Yeah.
The Lakers led the league in free throw attempts. Yeah. Well, they only had 21, and so did the home team. Okay, it's not good enough.
But Jaren Jackson shot 10, he had 10 attempts.
Yeah.
Because he's driving the basketball.
He's driving the basketball. I agree. Attack mode. Obviously, I'm still bullish on the Lakers to win this series. I'm bullish on them to get to the conference finals. But That was pathetically unacceptable last night, and now they've just made the road longer. That's what they did.
They definitely made that.
Yeah.
But Skip, D. Ham might have to cut that bench because he's getting nothing from Troy Brown.
No,
Sunday night too.
Yeah.
And Malik Beasley, it's just like the moment. I'm like, bruh, it's just like if LeBron's on the court, he can't make a shot.
No, I got it. And as you know, the deeper you get into this tournament, the shorter your bench should get.
Well, hey, it should be short now.
It is. But Hachimura is still rising and shining.
They said, let's see if he can do it again Wednesday. He did it again Wednesday.
Yeah, that's true. He did.
He did
took
it again.
the challenge, and he did it again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Game 3, gentlemen, Saturday in L.A.
Ooh.
All right. Thanks for watching, Undisputed fans. Subscribe here to get the very latest from Skip and Shannon. Plus, go watch a few segments from our other shows on FS1.